The level of disputation is really just like the number of disputes. The level is like the number of the disputes, and the severity of the disputes, kind of, a mix of those. When it comes to measuring how many workplace disputes, like between the employers and the employers, it's really easy to measure how many days you've lost due to overt or obvious industrial action. So when it comes to a strike, if the strike went for 3 days, you just multiply 3 days times the number of workers times the amount of production for each worker, and you can work out the cost of that. But it's more difficult to measure covert or non-obvious actions. So you might use, let's say, absenteeism. You might be using your sick leave because you're dissatisfied with the management. You hate the managers. You don't like their leadership style. But you're not telling anyone, because who are you going to tell? You're going to tell the manager, I don't like your leadership style. It's not going to make it any better. So you might be having a dispute, but it's kind of a secret dispute. And you're not showing any way, externally, that you are having this problem with the managers. What do we compare it to when we're talking like number of days? When it comes to formal disputes, an average of about 2 days per worker per year in Australia is lost. It's obviously more in industries like the mining industry, where there might be safety issues, and they just go, we're not going to go down in that mine because you need to fix a safety issue. It's going to be more in some industries than others. And there are about 200 serious disputes a year in Australia that, we'll probably need to go to like Fair Work Australia. There are about 200 serious ones a year. What does it mean about your human resources strategies as a business if you're having workplace disputes? Going to not just grievance procedures, but high numbers of negotiations and mediations, or if they're taking you to Fair Work Australia, what is it that it's saying about your human resources strategies? There might be an issue with the maintenance process, so maybe your monetary rewards are insufficient, maybe your working conditions are not satisfactory. They might be going on strike because they want more money, or they want better conditions, or they want more leave, or they want this or that. There might be safety issues that, say that your workplace health and safety needs to improve. You might, especially on building sites, they go, what? Where the building like the CFMEU is pretty powerful. They can just say, what? We're not happy with the conditions there, so our members, and we're going to block anyone else who's not a member anyway, from going to that worksite because this safety hazard, this safety hazard, this safety hazard, and they'll give a big list. It might be that the employer's not been acting in a socially responsible way. Maybe that might lead to green bans, where they just decide, we're as a company, we're doing some nasty things, we're chopping down this, or we're polluting, or whatever, and the dispute might be about that. They might say, we're not doing that work. Workers might also be unhappy with management decisions. So a common example is like when the managers decide to outsource work globally, they say move the factory to China. We're not physically moving the factory, but moving the work to China. The other workers are going to be upset about that, and they might actually, dispute that decision to use global contractors, because they're like, well, these are our friends, and you're firing them. So, are you actually going to fight them? Well, maybe you might be a little scared about losing your job too, but maybe you might say, it's worth it. And the last thing, it might be that your current dispute resolution processes aren't working. So you might have grievance procedures, but they're not solving simple problems. So it's escalating. Or maybe you're going through negotiation between staff and employers, and one side isn't acting in good faith. Maybe the managers are going, okay, our offer is 0% pay rise, ha 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 ha, and then walking out. If they're not negotiating properly, then it's probably going to lead to a dispute. They need to be reasonable about it, and so do the workers. So the workers might say, we want 5%, and the managers say, look, we can't do that, we can do 3%, and they go, okay, 4%, oh yeah, we all win. So the level of disputation is going to give you a sense of whether your workers are happy or not. But remember, it could be a kind of, covert, it could be kind of undercover. So you need to look at other things like absenteeism as well.